You dressed as a you dressed as a
We're
winner today?
joined from UMC by my man, Alan Loving, Director of Volunteer Services at University Medical Center there in Jackson, graduate of Mississippi College, longtime minister, and we thank you so much for joining us. I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson, and we're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County Schools. And I forgot to mention also Madison County Schools parent. But we're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County Schools, Madison Central, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, Regis Scott, the Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. And we are in the Human Services career cluster. And we just got out of the Health Science cluster. So you kind of work hand in hand with that. So we thank you so much for taking time for us today.
Man, that's no problem at all. Super glad to be here. Quite the introduction. I appreciate that. You need to follow me around and just introduce me everywhere I go. That worked. Right? Well, you're quite the legend too now. Come on now. You're the man. You're the man. So I
I appreciate
appreciate you
it.
getting me here.
Just give us a little background. Brandon High School, went to Mississippi College, played soccer there, and then got into church work.
All that is correct. Yep. I was a Brandon Bulldog. I was actually the mascot and played soccer over there. That was super fun. Being a mascot's underrated. It's really, really, really fun. And played soccer in high school. Loved that. Probably focused more on mascot and soccer than academics. But I don't necessarily recommend that. But I did. That was my path. That was my journey. And then went on to play soccer at Mississippi College, like you said. And while I was at MC, Mississippi College, not Madison Central, I was also chief jock when we had that over there. I was the mascot there as well. Had a blast doing that. And then went on from there, like you said, to be a minister. Got married to this amazing lady named Courtney Hess. She's always going to be Courtney Hess, but now she's Courtney Hess Loving. And we got two incredible girls. One's a junior at Mississippi State, Mary Addison. She's my accountant, way smarter than dad. That's great. That's what you want. You want your kids to be smarter and better than you. And then my youngest daughter, Anna Claire, is a junior at Madison Central, the lowercase MC, and she's having a blast playing soccer over there. And Courtney is a sixth grade teacher at Madison Middle, teaching science. I've been there about, I think, going on 9 years or so.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, and I was a minister for about 30 years. So
Yeah, and I think that's important. There's a need for church professionals, and it's not just pastors. There are so many skills that translate into church work. And with all these big churches we have around here, Pine Lake, Broadmoor, Word of Life, Greater Bethlehem, New Jerusalem, First Baptist Madison, First Baptist Jackson, First Methodist in Madison, even the Beth Israel Synagogue in Jackson. There are so many professionals behind the scenes that are needed to run a church. And it's crazy. Our friend Emily Ray, was elementary school principal, but now she works at the church. So there are so many transferable careers to and from church work.
yeah, no doubt about it. I'm finding out a lot of my training to be a minister has greatly benefited me here over at UMMC. I'm the manager of volunteer services. Got about 300 or so volunteers I'm in charge of, that I manage, and we go all throughout the entire hospital. But a lot of my skills in dealing with like WMU groups or just the different organizations within the church organization has really helped me over here. And even to the point to where, again, part of my journey was that I got my doctorate. I obtained it through New Orleans, and I wouldn't have known this at all when if you'd asked Alan Loving in October 31st, what about what you're going to be doing? I probably wouldn't have told you this
Yeah.
about 5 years ago, but I wrote my doctorate, did my dissertation on forming a greeter ministry in a church. And
Wow.
pretty much most of what I do up here is sort of greeter oriented. So it's crazy
Yeah.
how if you just let yourself be guided on your path and your journey by, I would say by the Lord, how He can use you. So
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that you need people to run the finance office. You need people to run security. You need people to run the lights. You need people to fix things. You need people to have programs for youth, program for senior adults. So there is a lot of great careers in churches that you're never behind the pulpit. Everybody sees the pastor, and we have some great pastors in our community, but there is a lot of people behind the scenes in churches, and churches need good professionals.
Correct. I mean, you can say that about any profession, I think. Like, I'm finding out, like you said, in ministry, like there's all kinds of opportunities in a church, even like you know, janitorial. I mean, we had every church I've ever served at has had a multi-staff facilities operator. You can call it whatever you want to. And then you've got ministry assistants that work with the pastors and ministers there, and then all kinds of different, like you said, especially in your larger churches, you've got folks doing like production and lights and all. And now another big opportunity that's happening, I guess, usually in your larger sort of churches are media things. With the way in which social media has just become a big platform to let people know about what you're doing and everything. That's another thing. Lots of churches are getting like sort of media production teams, and for taking pictures of everything and video and stuff. I mean, it's just crazy how that's there. But like even in schools and stuff too. I mean, like I'm sure y'all have. It's not just principals and teachers. It's other folks, that make it all run, facilities operators, and just all sorts of different opportunities. If you want to do something and work at it and kind of get to where you felt like you're being like one of the best at it, there's always an opportunity, I think, for people to get in, work, and do what you like to do.
Absolutely. Now, around 2 years ago, you had a life altering incident. And we've seen a little background. We saw your WAPT story. And it's just, and I just think it's so appropriate with us about to be near Thanksgiving about all the things we have to be thankful for. And despite what happened, you're still just so thankful for everything you have. And I love how you said, I focus on what I can do. So just take us, just let everybody, for those who don't know, just take us through that incident, and what's happened since then, because it's an unbelievable story. And just all the people that worked with you, I think it's great. It's been great awareness of people needed in rehab therapy, but also it's led to a great career now at UMC just because of your experience.
Absolutely. I tell people when I'm doing my orientations with them up here at UMMC that I believe every one of us is on a journey of some form or fashion. And I tell you, in the maybe 2000s, late 90s, there was a movie called Slumdog Millionaire. It got all kinds of critical awards and everything.
Unbelievable movie. I agree.
Oh, unbelievable, unbelievable. Well, the premise of that movie, I think, is that if you embrace your journey and you learn from the different parts of it, and you take it in, it can benefit you along the way. This young man goes on the Indian version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and all the questions that he gets asked relate to something that has happened to him previously in his life. And he's able to answer the questions and get them correct because of what has happened to him and his different experiences. I think that for me, and I think really for everybody, if we can embrace that kind of mindset and understand, find joy in the journey and go forward with it, that it helps out your attitude. Attitude's everything. Chuck Swindoll's got this great quote about how attitude is literally everything in life, and I think that's very, I embrace that big time. But here's what happened to me. I'm about 2 years ago, October 12th, actually, 2022, at my parents' house doing what I had done thousands of times, blowing off leaves off the roof. And I was wrapping that up, I guess, or something. And I get too close to the edge. I don't really sort of know what happened after that for about actually the next 6 weeks. I don't know what happened, but I had an accident and I'm a spinal cord injury survivor. Is what I say, and so I go from there. Got this awesome scar on top of my head that my hair hides and stuff, but chicks dig scars and glory lasts forever, so that's all good. So yeah, that happens, and I go to UMMC, and for 6 weeks I'm here, and the doctors took amazing care of me. It was they literally saved my life. I coded 3 times, so I get to work somewhere that literally saved my life, which not a lot of people
That's
get to
awesome.
do, but that's pretty cool.
That's
So
incredible.
kept coming back. So I guess you can call me Lazarus or whatever. Finally came out of it, and I go from there to a place called Select Specialties. I was there for about 4 or 5 weeks, and then I go from there to this amazing place in Atlanta, Georgia called Shepherd Center. UMMC saved my life, and I tell people that Shepherd Center saved my quality of life. Did a bunch of rehab, not like rehab getting off of something, but like physical rehab, kind of thing. And always have to I feel like I need to quantify that to people. So anyway, so I'm over there, do lots of physical therapy, occupational therapy, and I was there for around 15 weeks. I mean, so my journey hasn't been like totally like that we would say smooth, right? So my accident was definitely a big, huge bump in the road or whatever you want to call it. And while I'm at Shepherd, I had to have another procedure done that I don't let y'all don't need to know the details about, but it was just kind of gross, which meant I was like in a bed. I was bedridden for an additional like 5 weeks that I wasn't counting on. So again, that was another sort of like because like Greg said, I'm super active. I like to be out, like to do so. Laying there in a bed for 5 weeks, that's not just the greatest, but I tell you what through this entire process has helped me stay positive and just really embrace life is the fact I got 3 things that I'm leaning on big time. My relationship with my Lord, my relationship with my family, and then my relationship with my friends. My village that's around me is so much greater than they make up the sum of my parts. My wife and daughters have been incredible, just to love me and support me and through this, and all my friends like Greg and just different people that prayed for me and like showed up and gave meals and just did so many things to where all I had to concentrate on was getting better and like you said, focusing on what I can do rather than what I can't, because I ain't got time for that. It doesn't cost any more to be positive than to be negative in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So that's where I'm at. So I get out from come back home from Atlanta and got home renovations done and modifications done, and I started thinking about, okay, what can I do next? So I'm not laying around here just drawing disability. I'm going to do something. Otherwise, I'd have gone on to glory. I mean, because I'm here for a reason. So I find out about this job while I'm actually I thought I was going to be a chaplain. So I was in a chaplain intern program at another network in the city, just getting Baptist. But I'm over there doing that, and while I'm there, I found out about this job. So again, just journey. I mean, like if I don't start the chaplain internship, I don't find out about this job, and I'm very convinced this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life right now. And so find out about it, interview for it, and last January 29th is when I started. So I'm coming up on a year being here, and it's just great, man. I love it. It's just it's wonderful. So
Yeah, and I think it's a great example of not only at Shepherd where you were rehabbing, but there at UMC, there are so many different careers that are needed and need people with huge hearts. Because some of the things you told me that at Shepherd, I didn't even realize that was such. You dealt with every type of health professional you can imagine. obviously you dealt with doctors and nurses. You were dealing with occupational therapist assistants. You were dealing with respiratory therapists. You were dealing with techs. You were dealing with people that made your chair and had to show you how to work it. So dealing with like biomedical engineers, you're dealing with people to operate the machines. So there's a huge need for talented people in that field that with technological advances that these kids may not know about. So if they're interested in the health field, there's a need for them in that because there's people like you every day that need good care at all these places.
Absolutely. I mean, everything from like all the different people that were when I was at Shepherd, okay, each of the it's a massive place. It's the big leagues of physical care, in my opinion. So I was so blessed to get there. And again, even getting there was a blessing. One of my students from one of my churches that I served in Alabama placed a call to a somebody who is related to the Shepherd family,
Wow.
and got me in there, maybe or maybe not a little quicker than sometimes you can get in. So again, my journey from where I was just helped me out on where I am and where I was there too. So anyway, yeah, Greg, there's all kinds of opportunities like folks cleaning stuff, helping out things. I mean, just all that. You don't have to be a doctor to work in a hospital. You don't have to be a nurse to work in a hospital. There's all kinds of different stuff. Like you said, financial, you just all kinds of different things, assistance. I mean, I've got matter of fact, I had the great pleasure of just hiring an admin assistant, which is basically sort of like a secretary for us over here. And that was a job that we saw the need that my office was just more than really one person could handle. So I put in talking to one of my different bosses. Matter of fact, one of my different bosses, she technically works over in Hart. And she just joked. She was like, I work in a hospital, but I can't even give anybody a Band-Aid or like any kind of medical stuff because that's not what we're allowed to do. I
Yeah,
mean, there's now you
that's a
can't
great point.
stick and throw it without hitting a nurse or a doctor around here, but there's all the our UMMC when I'm doing my different kind of orientations with folks, I tell them we have 10,000 full-time employees here.
Wow.
10,000. So again, all kinds of opportunities for all kinds of different uh, different jobs and everything. So yeah, I think you're right. It's really good to emphasize that, like, if you want to work, if you want to be a productive member of society, you can do this. I mean, and like me, I don't have to work, but I choose to, and
Yeah.
I want to be productive. I want to, and I love people so much. I got to be out there with people anyway. So
Yeah, and that's a great point. And then also, the need for tech people in a hospital has never been greater with technological advances. The IT, health informatics people. I'm actually friends with um his name's Alan. His name's Alan too. Alan Grissett. He's in charge of the server at UMC. Like he is on call 24 hours a day because the server can't go down. He doesn't know jack
absolutely,
how to save somebody, but that computer system has to be run by a professional. And then great people like yourself, there's a need for psychologists, there's a need for counselors, there's a need for grief counselors, there's a need for substance abuse counselors, there's a need for chaplains in hospitals. So it's not all patient care things. There's a need for people that have a heart for people that want to serve people, and then you can make a pretty good living doing it.
that's a great point. Yeah, I mean, like all the different jobs that are here, for instance, and that you just rattled off. And you didn't even say anything about, we have an entire like tower and part of it. We got three main entrances to our facilities. First is real creatively named a main, right? So that's where everybody comes in. But then if you're children, we have an entire hospital, Children's Hospital in Mississippi, formerly called Batson. Now Batson's a tower and Sanderson's a tower. And then the Children's Hospital in Mississippi is this big, huge, several story building. And they have all kinds of stuff just for children. I mean, like you said, counselors. Just we've got this thing up here called Three Circle, where some kids come that are either, you know, awarded by the state or troubled or whatever, and we come up here and we take care of them. And again, it's a ministry. It's not a church, but like it's definitely a ministry, you know. And
Absolutely.
like we give out stuff from my office that's very ministerial. Like we give out clothes to patients. We give out books for distraction when people are up here. Distractions are everything up here because when you're up here for longer than about a week, you want to be distracted by something. That's why the power of a presence is so incredible when folks are coming in to visit patients and stuff. But we give out word finds. We give out coloring books. I mean, everything from like I said, crayons to colored pencils to just just different things. Romance novels. I don't read a bunch of those, but that's one of those things that apparently people like to really put their hands on. So
That's awesome. Now I do have some questions from the students. I'll get to as many of these as I can.
perfect.
I like this one. This is Sanaya Norman. She's in 10th grade, one of our cheerleaders here at Velma Jackson. And she asked, how long did it take you to get used to the changes you had to learn after the accident?
Great question. For me, like it was a daily thing where like I'd say, okay, let's focus on getting a little bit stronger. Like for instance, when I'm at Shepherd and there were, like I said, three different times where I was sort of starting to deal with the changes, right? Again, while I'm at UMMC, I was here 6 weeks. I don't remember Jack. I mean, nothing. And again, it's good. I was so physically messed up that I'm glad they had me on drugs and drugs. And then when they were done with that, they gave me more drugs. So, but I will say this: don't do drugs, kids, because my dreams and stuff were crazy. They weren't bad. They were great. But I mean, I must think a lot of myself because they were all incredibly positive. But anyway, I started coming out of it, and when I was at select specialties, and so while I was there every day, I would think to myself, okay, what's something that I can do, And we went to the thing to where I was intubated, got that taken out, a trach, got that taken out, swallow test, got that taken out. This is probably more information than y'all want, but did all these different things to where I could get to Shepherd. So I get to Shepherd, and then every day it's like, okay, when I go to when I go down the hall and work out in what they call a gym, I'm learning how to sit up. I'm learning how to turn. I'm learning how to move. And you're right. There's a big learning curve on just stuff that we just we think is simple. Like me sitting up, turning around. I mean, it's a different day than it used to be. Again, it's not a bad day. It's just different. So I'm figuring out every day how to do for myself, and big learning curve when I got home versus when I was at Shepherd. I had an arsenal of nurses and people I could call to just help me. When I come back to 104 Begonia Lane in Madison, and I'm at the house just kind of chilling by myself. I don't get to grab SA. That was one of my male nurses. I don't get to talk to Kia to come on in here and help me out. So I got to figure out. I'm making my own sandwiches. I'm doing my different things, and along the way, for me, rather than getting frustrated, I'll be like, okay, what's something that I can do, and what's an adjustment that I got to make in order for me to just be able to do the things that I want to do. It's adjustments probably the right word. Lots of adjustments, and it's a daily thing. So yeah, I think I'm always trying to ask what more can I do. So
Yeah,
hope that
and yeah, and I think it's cool. You're able to drive. You're able, and you started back playing tennis. Those dang guys in the Paralympics playing wheelchair tennis is pretty incredible. But it
yeah.
is amazing all the things, and this is again a great career for people that help with post-accident care, building the ramps, fitting the houses, helping people learn these new activities. So it really is a great way for people like yourself to stay active.
Yeah, agreed. Because of the fact that when I came home, we started getting work done on my house, widening a couple doorways, putting in ramps. The biggest thing that we had to do was in regards to reconstruction of my shower, and they came in and did that, and it's incredible. It's great because yeah, I go in and like I've got like you said, Greg, I've got a car that I drive. I don't have, it's not driving Miss Daisy. It's not like I just go in on cargo. I can get in behind the wheel and by the way, I'm pretty good. Y'all don't have to be home when I drive. It's okay. You know, I don't have to let you know to get off the roads, but, I drive from Madison to downtown Jackson every day. I get on the interstate and learned how to do that through, Methodist rehab actually out here. I did driving lessons with them. And then, what I do is, in my power chair, not electric chair. I don't want people to think that I got the electric chair. That's not a good thing. But so I'm in my power chair, and a ramp comes out from my SUV. And by the way,
Wow.
it's not like this 1980s hoopty like Astro van kind of thing. I had the incredible blessing and good fortune. I got a tricked out black midnight package Chevy Traverse that
Wow.
like has tinted windows and the rims are all blacked out. I mean, it's it's pretty fire. I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie to you. And again, that's a blessing. But I've got hand controls on my steering wheel. And like I said, this ramp shoots out the side, and I roll up in there and I lock in like I'm on a roller coaster, and we just go. And you know, it's not a it's not an issue. It's really again, I've been able to have like I've got a power chair, but I've also got a manual chair. Got a shower chair that I use, and got a powered Hoyer lift that I get into a sling, and Hoyer lift picks me up and moves me from bed to chair when I'm going to shower, and I transfer, you know, by myself. And well, I mean, Courtney helps me out moving legs and stuff and that kind of deal. But like, what I want to do with her is try to, or just anybody, try to like let there be one less thing that somebody sort of has to do for me like all the time, so that I can improve, so that I can be as independent as I can. And that's a powerful thing too. Independence is a powerful thing, and I didn't really realize that till I was in this sort of condition and stuff. So
Yeah, and I love the story about how you said when you were about to start driving, you went to get your driver's license renewed, and you thought you'd have to do some special test, but you literally they didn't say anything. They just took your picture like it was no big deal.
oh my gosh, yeah, I get in there. I don't know what this says about the DMV or whatever, but I get in there and like I'm thinking I'm gonna have to drive or something, and I literally roll in there and I get up to the front. They're like, okay, just wait, we'll call your name. I'm like, okay, it's just kind of how it rolls, and so they call my name and my number, and I go and I was like, okay, what do I need to do? She was like, smile. I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that. So I don't, nothing else. I mean, you do see what I'm in, right? I mean, you know, but no, so they're like, yeah, that's good. Got my license, rolled out. I'm like, okay, all right. So yeah, that was actually really easy, and which was nice. But yeah,
That's funny. This is Azaya Ray. She's also in 10th grade, member of our band here. And she asked, after all you've been through, what is some advice you could give to somebody that was younger that may have a disability or an accident?
great question. I think the greatest gift that anybody can receive that's you know in my condition again is a positive attitude. That's what will shape what you think you can and can't do. You know, because there's you people in my condition, we can do way more than most folks think we can. You know,
Yep.
I'm chest up. Is I can move my arms around. Ooh, wait, I guess right. So hands, arms. I can obviously talk. Move my neck around, that kind of thing. But you know, chest down is just sort of asleep, which is fine. Because I joke with people, walking's overrated. I mean, it just is. Like I got two gears on my chair, and I can blow past people that are walking, so it's cool. But yeah, I mean, you can if you just are asking yourself, not just people like in my condition, but any of us, if every day we kind of look in our mirror and go, okay, what can I do today? How can I make somebody else's life better? How can I enhance my life? What can I do to just continue moving forward so that I'm not stalled out, I'm not neutral, and some of that is making good choices with your life. Again, for me, I choose joy, and I think that's the biggest gift that anybody can have. Because that helps your mental health. That helps with so many things. And to anything you can do, I think, to avoid depression with your life is key. But yeah, just kind of looking and saying, okay, how can I continue to roll forward than stall it out? So
No pun intended.
exactly, much pun intended, actually. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and then I'm glad you mentioned that because Isaiah actually wants to be a counselor and work with mental health. So I think I think possibly working with people with disabilities would be a great fit for her. She's extremely talented. This is Jada Hardy, one of our Blue Diamond dancers here at Velma Jackson, and she asked, "What is your favorite thing about your current job?"
Meeting people every day. I'm a people person. I love people. I always have. Like even going back to middle school, high school. I mean, like I just like being around folks. I like interacting with people. And what I do, my main part of what I do is here in volunteer services is I enlist, recruit, and then matriculate the volunteers throughout the entire hospital. So for me, once their application comes in online electronically, that's how they start the process. We go from that to where I contact the references, and after references, then they got to do a couple things like get a TB blood draw, get a flu shot. That's all paid for with the hospital. We take care of all that, and then they do an orientation with me. There's also a background check. We got to make sure that nobody's an axe murderer when they come up here, which is on today's date, you never know, right? Um, so uh, anyway, they come in, and when I get to meet them, that's for me is the good stuff. On a day, if I can do 4 and 5 orientations on a day, that's a great day for me because I'm meeting people, I'm hearing their story, they're hearing mine whether they want to or not, and we just go and roll forward. So what I enjoy the most about what I do is meeting people and helping them understand that up here, what we want to do in volunteer services is make somebody else's life a little better, alleviate a little anxiety for folks when they're up here, and that's a good feel too. When you see a smile on somebody's face, that's everything.
Yeah, and then also it's got to be cool, especially young people that want to get in a similar field, giving them experience to put on their resume. So when they do start applying for jobs, that is a great and we'll get to this before we go. That's a great resume builder for anybody looking for some community service hours and just something to have a reference. And we'll get to that before we go. But I got time for one more question. This is Mila McCullough, another one of our Blue Diamond dancers here. And she asked, what type of training would you need to get to have a similar job in your field?
Great question. For me, it was my ministerial training that led me to this, but like I would think you would need training in how to manage people, how to manage a budget, how to put those things together. Again, I would think some counseling skills would be really great because not just for the really the volunteers, but the patients that I come in contact with. If I go into a room and there's a child or adult and I can sit and listen and just hear, what's going on with them, I can better help them. We can do that. And then another on working with teams. This is definitely a place where teamwork makes the dream work because there's 10,000, like I said, full-time employees. So working with people, anything that you could do, public relations is another really good skill that would be great to have in this position as well. And yeah, so those are all this on a daily basis. I do all those things plus a whole bunch more computer skills. There's a lot going on here all the time. It's a swinging door coming in this place in and out. So
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned all that because that's things that we all preach. Now we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much as always for joining us. But a couple things before we go. because we mentioned you guys are always looking for volunteers to come get some experience, get your foot in the door, be able to put UMMC volunteer on your resume, be able to network and get some references. So if we have anybody looking for some volunteer experience, tell them how they do that because you guys are always looking for help.
Absolutely. Couple of requirements. You got to be 16 or older. Okay. But then once you jump through that hurdle, and by the way, sometimes some people like on their 16th birthday, I know a couple folks that literally when they turn 16 put in their application that day. Now that's a little much, but I think that's awesome. I love that kind of stuff. So what you do is go to umc.edu/volunteers, and that takes you to our website page, volunteers, up here. And then at the bottom of it is a hyperlink that says online application. That page, it tells you all about what we're about. And at the bottom, like I said, the words online application or a hyperlink. You click on that sucker and it takes you to the application, and that begins the process. And I try to make it as streamlined as possible. Want to make it as easy for y'all to get up here because, like Greg said, it's a great resume builder. I mean, it is. And while you're up here, by the way, you're meeting all these different people that can help you along the way too. Not just me, but doctors, nurses, healthcare workers, financial people, just the different folks that you can come in contact with to help you out on your journey, not only in life, but also in the vocational world.
Absolutely. Now, the last thing before we go, it's like I mentioned, with us just a few weeks away from Thanksgiving, I think it's just so important to remember all the things that we had to be thankful for. And despite your terrible accident, you're just such an inspiration. And I love the quote you had on WAPT about the light at the end of the tunnel is never a train. So everyone here has things to be thankful for. And despite everything that happened, you're still focusing on the positive. You're focusing on the things that you are thankful for. So as we get ready to, now as these kids move through high school, get ready to make decisions, and as we get into the Thanksgiving season, how can they remember all the things that they had to be thankful for that other people may take for granted?
Great question. Again, I think all of it goes back to attitude. I know for me, the reason why I believe I can be so positive is I mentioned this earlier, my faith, my family, and my friends. I'm somebody that what makes me up is that I'm a greater sum of my parts. There's no doubt about it. My entire life, it's not about me. It's about people that have invested in me, people that love me, people that care me. Now, look, I've made some bad choices in my life. It's not like I've just like, I feel like I've had a charmed life actually, and I tell people all the time I think I'm the most blessed guy alive because I feel that way. I'm the luckiest dude alive. I understand because of who's with me, around me, and who's in my village. That is definitely what I'm the most thankful for. My faith, my family, and my friends. This is what I believe is in me that I can go and be positive. My glass always 3/4 full, so that when it gets jiggled a little bit, it's still at least half. And I like the quote by the two folks. One is from Truett Cathy, the guy that started Chick-fil-A. He said, somebody, if they need encouraging, if they're breathing. Okay. And so I want to do that, be an encouragement to others. And then Maya Angelou's got a fantastic quote that I love. People will forget what you said. They will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And so the folks that I come in contact with on a daily basis, I want them to feel better about themselves. I want to be able to do something to where when they leave me, they feel a little bit better than before they came.
That's awesome. Well, again, we thank you so much for fitting this in your schedule. Just such an inspiration. And again, we encourage everybody to look into the volunteer opportunities there at UMC. But it's always just such a pleasure to have Alan Loving, Director of Volunteer Services at UMC, my man, and go Tigers.
That's right. Go Tigers. Exactly right. And the I believe it's right there on your shirt. So That's right. Jackson State
D I
team.
love.
Yeah,
D I
love.
love it.
Excuse me. That's right.
Jackson State homecoming week, man. We got to get it right.
Exactly. That's right. Got to get that right. All right, my man.
I talk,
Hey, sir, thank y'all for being with me today. I appreciate it.
I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Take it easy, bro. Bye.